So we're going to talk a little bit more about sales right now. There are 5 steps to every conversation if you want to get that money. Plain and simple. There's an intro, questions, presentation, close, and then the rehash. That's it. There's 5 steps to every conversation. You need to immediately start off with an introduction. This is basic sales 101. Hi, my name is Dylan with Epic Dog Pros. I'm here today to help you with your dog. How's it going? That's it. But did you notice what I just ended it with? How's it going? That's step number 2, questions. Once you're engaging in questions, it's your job to stay in control of the conversation. Whoever's asking the question is the one who's in control. If you're a dog trainer and you sat down with a client and they start interrogating you, that's a very bad thing. If they go, so how much experience do you have? How many dogs have you trained? How long you been in business? Huh? What did you do today? Where did you learn from? Are you certified? When they start grilling you, you're not in control of the conversation and you're not going to make a sale. Your job is to interrogate them. And not in a negative way, like they're doing something wrong. What are you doing wrong with your dog? Your job is to genuinely ask them questions to figure out what's going on. So typically when I go into somebody's house, I say, hey, tell me what's going on. What's happening with your dog? They explain, and then I ask more questions. You're borderline like a CSI investigator because your point is you want to figure out what the day in a life is in that house, and you don't live there. I've got 45 minutes to ask you enough questions to have a clear picture what it would be like to live in this house. And if I can ask you, what's the routine? What do you guys do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do in the evening? How often are you at work versus at home with your dog? Does the dog get walked every day? Does the dog get any socialization with other dogs? How are your kids interacting with the dog? How does it act when you take it out into public? Do you use a crate? Do you not use a crate? How do you use the leash? What tools are you currently using? You got to ask them all these questions. And while you're asking them these questions, you also need to be figuring out what they do for a living because you need to know what program you might pitch them on. If you ask them the right questions, you say, so how often are you at the house versus at work? And they start bitching about their job and how many hours they work, you know a little bit more about them. If you ask them what their schedule is and they say, well, I'm currently unemployed right now, so I'm actually home all day, even though that's exciting to you because you can schedule that training at any time, they just told you they're unemployed. Odds are they don't have the money that you want, right? So for me, it's you have to ask questions to get the information. Once I have enough information, just like the police who are asking all those questions, then I go, so here's what I think you did. I think you killed Melissa with the wrench in the library with Colonel Mustard, okay? And now I'm, just like the game of Clue, I'm figuring out and I'm telling you my hypothesis, my thesis, what I think went down. That's your presentation. That's where you build the value. So intro, question, presentation. This is your pitch. This is when you build the value. You let them know that your group classes are phenomenal. Check out my YouTube. This is when you tell them your story. You know, I've been training dogs for 12 years. I've actually trained over 5,000 dogs. I've trained some YouTube celebrities' dogs. Let them know more about you in the presentation, but let's go back to rule number 1. Make it about your client. Intro. Quickly let them know who you are and what you're there to do. Then you're spending 20 to 30 minutes on questions, getting to know them, making it about them. Once you're done with them, they're going to want to know your story. And they'll say, so what's your story anyway? We're about to make the decision. I want to sign up with you. I just need to make sure you're legit. Tell me your story. That's when you give your presentation. And once you know that they're starting to shake their heads and they like how it sounds and you're starting to talk about what dates and they're asking you closing questions or closing objections versus the initial objections that they might be giving you. So we'll go over that a little bit further also in the next video. Initial objections and closing objections, initial questions and closing questions. These are definitely things that you want to A, be aware of, so when you're in the process of making a sale, you know where you're at. If at any point you're in the presentation, you're talking about how great your dog training is, you think you're about to make the sale, and things don't work out, you just go back to questions. ask them a few more things. Let me ask you, if all of you could walk this dog around your neighborhood and the dog didn't bark at everybody, that would ease your mind a little bit, right? Yeah, it would. And if you could walk the dog and it wouldn't pull you any longer, that would also make it a little bit easier for you to walk the dog. Yeah, it would be great. And your wrist would probably stop hurting and your elbows would stop hurting as well. Yeah, it would. And your neighbors would be a little bit like less hostile with you because you got that big dog that's barking. Yeah. Now they're in a yes chain. Now they're saying yes. Guess what? Now I need to go in and say, okay, so what days and times are going to work best for you? Let's get you guys started. It seems like you guys know exactly what you want. You're leaning more towards the one all-in program. Okay, so it's 3 days a week for the next 4 weeks. I just need an hour. What days and times are going to work best for you? If you asked the right questions, I know that the husband and wife both get home at 5 o'clock. I know that they leave at 6, so I have to train the dog from 5 to 6, 6 to 7, or 7 to 8, and they're only available on the weekends because I talked about my group classes and my pack walks, and I told them they need to come out to it. They said they were super excited. Their kids don't have anything to do. They don't play sports, so they have the availability. Guess what? Now you got to capitalize on the questions that you asked and build your presentation based upon what they told you about themselves. Again, everything is about them. And if you can really customize your pitch, your presentation towards your clients, and each one of them is a little bit different, now they're going to have that genuine and authentic experience with you where they believe in you, they really respect you, and they feel comfortable and confident that you're going to help them not only get the results, but you'll be there for them when they need you to keep and maintain the results. So intro, question, presentation, close it down, baby. And after you've closed it down, gotten your money, written down the contract, everybody signed everything, the final part is the rehash. You have to go over everything that they just purchased. If I'm buying a car and I just spent $30,000, before I leave, they're going to let me know, make sure you try out that convertible, put those speakers up. Hopefully you enjoy those leather seats. The sport version, man, let me know how fast you get that car. But you want to add some personality and you want to add some just fun conversation at the end to let them know that you're happy that we're going to work together, that you guys are going to be ecstatic with the results and the process, and this is going to be a great trade together where we're going to work together. I'm going to give you information. That information is actually going to help you live a better life with your dog. And you literally become the health coach or fitness coach that just helps somebody that went from obese to losing 120 pounds and now they're a testimonial. And if your goal is to make every one of your clients a testimonial, you'll be very successful in business. If you only ask your clients for a review at the very end when you need a testimonial, it's an ass backwards way of doing business. Everything is about making it about the client, and then the money will come. Plain and simple. Make it about your client.